morning, everyone, and thank you for your attendance and taking time out of your schedule to hear about Leavenworth. Leavenworth is our second coalition that is graduating this year. And if you've been on these graduations before, you've heard me say that this is the second most favorite time of the year for me. I do not have a memorized script, so you're not going to hear the same message. But it's just really a great opportunity to learn of not only about our coalition that's graduating, but also to just highlight and just show how important they have been to our community, how much we want to continue to support them in the work that we do. And so it's just really a great time to see how things come together from individuals that start year one in planning and then progress to this point. One fun fact, and then I'll turn over to Joe. But I started getting to know Joe about 2 years ago. He was assigned to Chris. And so Chris kind of, worked with Joe. But when things changed, I started working with Joe. And the one thing that I will say about Joe is he is resilient and he is always open to learn and to grow. He has a heart for this work. A lot of us in this prevention work have had our ups and downs through the past few years, but Joe doesn't give up. Joe will keep pushing to make sure that he learns what he needs to learn. And, if he needs to do something, he'll do his best to do it with his main focus on this coalition. And although I have never worked in a coalition, I've worked with coalitions, and this is not easy work. And you really have to have that commitment to keep going, to keep those messages out there in your community and in Kansas. And Joe has done that. So with that being said, I want to pass it over to Joe so that we can learn more about Leavenworth Youth Achievement Center. Thank you, Joe, for everything.
Hey, thank you for the kind words, Stephanie. You really embellished there a bit, but I appreciate it. That's going to be a tough one to follow. You lead strong, don't you? Hi, all. My name is Joe Bias. I am the director of the Leavenworth Youth Achievement Center here in sunny Leavenworth, Kansas. A little bit about my beautiful little hometown. Leavenworth, Kansas is the first city in the state of Kansas. A lot of history here. Leavenworth is home to Fort Leavenworth and St. Mary University and has 6 jails, prisons, holding facilities within a 10-mile radius. The significance of that is we have a constant cycle of youth coming in and out of the community, which I'm sure most of you know makes it very difficult for them to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of connection to a community. One of our most important roles when accepting a new youth is helping them feel right at home, that they belong, that they've been there for years already. The static population of Leavenworth, and I have people's faces covering my numbers. Let me see if I can slide you all over. There we go. We're sitting at about 37,193. And again, that's not accounting for the military families that come in and out. I'm not sure how recent those numbers are, so it may be higher, it may be lower due to prison families being transitioned out of the community. Of the population, 14.6% live at or below the poverty rate, with only 13,530 residents employed at the time of the census. This really eliminates a lot of possibilities for the at-risk youth in Leavenworth, which is why we never charge the families a single dime for any of the events that we hold, any of the programs that we do. any of the Super Bowl watch parties, the field trips, days at the pool, that's all our expense through uh, grants, donations, fundraisers, in-kind donations, the amount of volunteer hours is just amazing. It's astronomical to help make all of that possible for the youth in our community. There we go. Our main mission statement is to teach the youth, the dangers, the hazards of underage drinking, give them the hard facts, about how it affects their health and how it will continue to affect their health should they continue drinking. And this doesn't just, we don't just single out drinking, it's the drugs, it's the violence, it's all of the antisocial behaviors that we make the consequences hopefully very clear to the participating youth. And of course, our goal is to continue decreasing the reported underage use of past 30-day alcohol use amongst the program participants. We do this mainly by using the Too Good for Drugs and Alcohol program materials. We've had guest speakers, figures in the community, people who have struggled with alcoholism, people who have gotten themselves in trouble, both in their personal life and legally due to alcohol abuse or alcohol misuse. And, it does seem to have a lasting effect on the youth. Our numbers do keep decreasing. That's, we're all striving to get as close to that zero as we can. Our coalition recruitment was a far easier process than I had initially envisioned. We've had so many volunteers, supporters, parents of youth that have or currently are attending, and other organizations that were on board, immediately to jump in and start doing what they can to help out with this. Future coalition recruitment, I know, is just going to be as smooth of sailing as this has been. Everybody's incredibly emotionally invested in the youth in our community, trying to make the community a safer place for the youth here. As I said earlier, the primary strategy that we used, prevention material, was Too Good for Drugs. We implemented that both during our after-school programs and our summer camp programs. We handed out tons of information during parades and other community events, church events, at other fundraisers for other organizations, and also partnering with other youth-focused groups really helped to expand our outreach. And working with other groups, the other groups working with us, it was a very symbiotic relationship there. Here is just some of the youth that we've had in the past. For those who don't know, that portion of the floor that picture was taken on had, this is in my old facility, that portion of the floor right there had collapsed back in 2022, I believe. It definitely wasn't due to all the big egos in that picture. The weight of that had nothing to do with it. But, that, as Stephanie said about perseverance, that was just one of the many hurdles I have had to almost pole vault over during the course of this grant. But, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, right? As I said earlier, reported numbers of past 30-day alcohol use has decreased over the last 4 years of program implementation. This is just one of the groups early on in the grant that were participating in the program. Please don't be misled to think there's a lack of enthusiasm in this picture. It was kind of a candid picture, so I wasn't able to get everyone with a smile. current and future programs will be sustained through hopefully grant funding, donations, fundraisers, and continued partnership with other youth-focused organizations. The Leavenworth Youth Achievement Center is the longest running youth-focused nonprofit in Leavenworth. So we have helped many organizations get themselves started, and many other organizations have helped us when we needed it. So it's a very solid relationship here between us. No one's trying to steal the glory or, hold the corner on the youth serving market here. And I'm afraid that's it.